Hello, everyone. This is Robert Baratheon with another in the TNV Gamergate series. In this video, I'm going to talk about political correctness and how progressives use political correctness to control others. Political correctness is when a group of people decides that certain words or types of expression, whether it's in writing or in games or other forms of art, should be off limits because somebody might get offended by it. As with any progressive policy, the justification they offer is that they're making the world a more tolerant and pleasant and inclusive place. Now, actual tolerance of other people, as libertarians generally support, is a good thing, but there are very serious problems with achieving that the way progressives want to go about it. The first problem is that there isn't consensus on what exactly is prohibited or off limits, which is normally a precondition, as it is in the law, for restricting other people's behavior. People deserve to have fair notice about what they can and cannot do or say, and there should be a fair process for setting those types of rules. But progressivism and political correctness have none of this. It's essentially a dictatorship where progressives and the thinnest skinned members of society set these rules, and they set the punishments on a whim as well. So it's like navigating a minefield where the mines are always moving under the surface and you don't know where they are. We could look at countless examples of the arbitrariness of the system and how these shifts happen, but one that shows the complete subjectivity of political correctness is how the term colored person, which was formerly a preferred term not long ago, as used in the NAACP title, which is formerly used by black people to self-describe, is now become a slur, but person of color is considered politically correct. The terms colored person and person of color literally mean the same exact thing and are nearly identical, but one is off limits and one is not. Why? Because progressives say so, and no other reason. So we saw in the news recently that Benedict Cumberbatch, the actor, while speaking out against racial discrimination, confused these terms, and he used apparently the wrong one. So progressives came down on him like a pack of wolves and forced him to grovel and to ask for their forgiveness. Likewise, anything deemed ageist or ableist or sexist or anything giving any conceivable type of offense can be moved to the blacklist without notice. And the enforcers don't even agree amongst themselves on what should be prohibited. So we have thousands of vigilante language police running around and enforcing their own takes on the concept without any kind of reliable standards or notice. So as with any authoritarian system, they set these rules. You have to conform to them, and the rules are always changing. If you followed Anita Sarkeesian's speeches and writings on video games, you see the same pattern with the goalposts always moving. So she calls for more female characters, but no, not that kind of female character. And don't include her in that way. You should treat her equally to the men. But then when you try to do that, no, now she's just a man in a female avatar, and so on and so on. As with all political correctness, the objective is to set herself up in a position of power as the decider of what is appropriate or not, and to keep other people, the developers in this case, always guessing and afraid. The second problem with political correctness is the enormous cost it imposes on society. There's a social cost, which is more obvious. Just removing words from our language or putting certain concepts or types of artistic expression off limits reduces our ability to communicate and share ideas with each other. And it also makes people less tolerant of each other, ironically, because we see progressives blocking people on social media or getting rid of their friends over minor political differences or any type of perceived insensitive slight. Uh, the worst costs, though, come when progressives target employers. If they don't like something you say, they'll call or write to your employer to try to get you fired from your job so that you can't provide for your family. This has been a mainstream progressive tactic since Alinsky wrote Rules for Radicals, or maybe even before that. That was when it became widely popularized in community organizing, progressive communities. The reason they do it is because it works. It's something we've seen Ben Kuchera and other progressive games journalists doing again and again, calling for people's firings for saying the wrong thing. If you think only hardcore racists and sexists need to be afraid of this form of retribution, as a lot of progressives have suggested to me, you should understand that these campaigns can be ratcheted up to any level on a whim. If your employer is getting hundreds or thousands of emails or calls because some progressive forum or group decided you were a racist, it doesn't matter if you're actually racist or not. It's a headache to your employer. And eventually the employer is going to get tired of dealing with it and is going to start considering whether letting you go and replacing you with somebody who doesn't bring this sort of social harassment would just be easier for them. So imagine if everybody on every end of the political spectrum engaged in these severe tactics, and nobody could disagree with each other on anything without fearing losing their job and having to go on unemployment. Think of the enormous social and economic obstacles that would create. And for the reasons that were discussed earlier, you can be targeted for any reason. So it's effectively giving this one group, a social elite of progressives, a kill switch over you and anyone they consider a threat to them at any time. There isn't even a chance that that type of power can be used responsibly. And of course, it hasn't been in practice. All of this is why political correctness is so dangerous in practice and is something that Gamergate and anyone else who values freedom of expression should reject. Thank you for listening.